Hello everyone, welcome to Joe and Zach's Survival. Well, if you guys have been following the series, I've made a lot of maple syrup this year, and I've made a lot of box elder syrup. And now that season is kind of starting to wind down, and the birch season is just starting. Normally the birch trees will start running sap about the time the maples get done or start getting the buddy flavor to them when they start to bud out and it's not as good anymore. But it's a little bit of a different process making this syrup than it is making the others. When we make maple syrup, we're talking a 40 to 1 ratio, so 40 gallons of water equals 1 gallon of syrup, roughly. When we did the box elder, we were at 60 to 1, but when we run up into the birch, we're up to 101, and that makes it real labor intensive, and you just really can't find that much birch syrup around to buy. But I really want to know how to do this well, because if I was living up at the tent, there's not going to be any box elder trees, there's not going to be any maple trees, but there are literally thousands and thousands of birch trees. The difference in the types of syrup is with the box elder or the maple, which are in the same maple family, the main sugar in that syrup is sucrose. When we come to the birch now, it's fructose, which is completely different. This kind of a syrup would be good for somebody with diabetes or something like that, because the sugar is completely different. The problem is this stuff burns real easy. So when I do maple and box elder, I do a hard boil until it gets down and I can watch those bubbles, and I know when it's getting close and I'll drop it down so it doesn't bubble over and burn. This stuff here will take on a burnt taste if you're boiling it, just going through the process. So what you have to do is more evaporate it, and as you can see here now, I've got it just under a boil. And the one I had outside there, that's one of my hot plates I use in the smoker. And with that big pan and the fact that that hot plate has been abused smoking stuff, it just doesn't get hot enough, so it just sits there. I'll just turn it on in the morning and let the thing run all day, and it'll just slowly evaporate it away. So what we're going to do is we're going to evaporate this down. Birch syrup, I've never had birch syrup, and it is not supposed to be as sweet as the maple or the box elder. I'm not going to sit there and go through 100 gallons of birch here to get a bunch in a jar. I just want to get down to enough so that I can do a taste test on these to see, because they say a lot of times this is more used for a glaze when you're cooking and stuff like that, but yet people do use it on pancakes. I mean, that's what they can make when you're way up north. The Native Americans, this is the kind of syrup that they mainly used, was the birch, and after a long winter they really looked forward to this sap flowing because of all the vitamins and minerals that were in it. After such a long winter and you're running out of food, all of a sudden here you've got something that you can finally drink that's good for you. So anyway, we're going to go through this and see if we can't get down to a taste test and see exactly how this tastes. Well, I'm out collecting some sap to add to the stuff that's boiling, and well, here we are a day later, and I'm still just evaporating this real slow. I've added a bunch to it and just slowly letting it go down. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the birch here. I've been doing this for, oh man, I don't know, 3 days maybe 4 now, since I started this video. But like I never have boiled it yet. It's just been real low, just evaporating. It evaporates about 1 inch an hour out of this pan. But I'm going to now get it down. We're at the very end part here. And I filtered this once in the middle too. The birch seems to get almost like a sooty. Let's see if you can see it on here. It's getting real dark. Normally if you did the maple syrup, this would be really sweet by now, and this stuff, it isn't all that sweet, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. But anyway, I'm going to filter this into this smaller pan, and then we'll get this completely evaporated down until it's a consistency that's like syrup. I'm not sure if you can really see that when I was talking about it, but it's almost like a fine dust or a really fine coffee ground or whatever that gets into that birch sap when you're boiling it down. This is the second time that I have filtered it with a coffee filter, but then it clears it up pretty good. So that's what we got right now, and we're going to now, like I said, get that evaporated down to syrup. Okay everyone, well this is just about ready to be put into the jar now. Birch sap that's made into syrup is not as thick as like maple, and it's starting to foam a little bit. Luckily it never boiled, there's no burnt taste to it, but I bet you this is going to be a really dark syrup. Okay, so my birch syrup is finished finally. It's been days. I don't have any cute half-pint jars. All I've got is pints left over. I need to get some more. Everything's getting filled up, but we are going to jar this and see how much we got. That is a nice dark syrup. We'll let that cool down for a little bit and then we'll give her a taste. While it's been cooled down to room temperature here, and we're going to give this a try. As you can see, it's not bad for consistency. I mean, they say that it's thinner, and it is a little bit, but it's not bad. Let's give a little bit of this a try. Okay, so I heard that you gotta have an acquired taste for it. Sweet with a little bit of bitter. It might have a tiny bit of bitter to it. I'm not tasting it really though. I mean, it's good. It's not as sweet as maple syrup like they said. This isn't bad. I watched stuff online where it should be more used for a glaze to cook things, stuff like that. You could use this for pancakes also. It's really good. Anyway, that's how you make birch syrup. Hope you enjoyed that video, and thanks a lot for watching the Joe and Zach Survival Channel.